Well, we've reached the end of the year and it's the holiday season. It's the Real Estate Show. Welcome to the Real Estate Show. My name's Rick Naples. I am the broker owner of Zone Realty LLC. You zone your home. The holiday season. Right now, during this filming, we're preparing for Christmas 2018. There's a little bit of snow on the ground. It's cold, and everyone's thinking towards the Christmas holiday. But you also have to keep in mind that this is the end of the year. So we're going to be going into a brand new year. And what is that new year going to hold for you? Is it going to be the year that you're going to purchase a house? Or perhaps sell your house and move to another state? Is this next year going to be a big year of change? There's a lot of things to start to consider. You know, in real estate, we always talk about markets and when the markets are going to be. And the two biggest markets, the spring market and of course the fall market. So we're looking upon next year and going into the spring market. Now, a lot of realtors have the idea or the knowledge that during the spring market, a lot of inventory houses are going to come on the market for sale. It's a big time for the market at that point. The problem is there's a lot of inventory that will come on the market. So if you list your house in the spring, you're going to have a lot of competition. When a realtor meets with a seller at this time of year, especially during the cold, the conversation is the earlier the house goes on the market, the better, because you want to build what's called momentum. And if you put your house on the market now during the cold season, there isn't a lot of competition. So you're going to get those serious buyers, and I've said before here on the Real Estate Show, folks, when someone's looking to buy a house and they're out there in the cold weather, they're serious about buying a house. They're not just looking around. You're going to have a good choice of the buyers that are out there to possibly purchase your home. So the holiday season may be one of the best times to look at putting your home on the market if you're looking to sell your house. For a buyer, you're in a situation where you want to set yourself up for the following year. So you want to be able to time it to look for a house, find a house to purchase, and then possibly be closing on that house when the weather starts to get a little bit nicer. So again, you want to take a look at the season. I put together a little video with some tips as to why you might want to list your home in the cold weather. Let's take a look and I'll be back right after. Has everyone got their shopping done or has begun to do all their shopping? And what about your to-do list? You know, when you're in the holidays, everybody has a bunch of things they need to accomplish. You have shopping to do, you have gifts to buy, you have preparations to make. Maybe you have relatives coming in from out of town that you haven't seen in a while. Perhaps family get-togethers, which sometimes during this course of the year, it's the only time that families do get together as a whole. Just a lot of planning. Well, as I said earlier, perhaps in that planning, you're looking at the possibilities of making a move for next year. You might be in a life situation where you're looking for a bigger home, your first home, or maybe you're in a situation where the family's not as big as it used to be and now you're ready to scale down to something more manageable, something easier to handle as far as maintenance and care is concerned. This is the time of year where we also sit and we reflect. You know, as the new year starts to approach, we all start to think about our New Year's resolutions. And obviously, we have the same ones, a lot of us, lose a little weight, make a little more money, and so on and so forth. But if you're going to include real estate in that New Year's resolution, now is the time to start making your preparations. When I talk about preparations, I mean looking at your financial situation. Now, there's been some changes out there as far as how the banks are financing homes. The FICO scores have changed a little bit, rates are changing a little bit, and programs are changing a little bit. So you want to do your research. You want to make sure that you're prepared going into the next year to be in a position to buy a home. And I've talked about the preparation kit before, and that is basically putting together all of your bills so you know exactly what your debt is, what your income level is, and talking to a mortgage officer to get pre-approved for a possible mortgage on a home. That's your shopping list. That's what tells you how much you're going to qualify for and how much area or what range of homes you should look in. Then, of course, your next decision is what's going to fit that range. What are your wants and what are your needs? In other words, do you want a 3-bedroom home that's got to have 2 baths in it? Is that better than, say, a 3-bedroom home with 1 bath and a garage? Is it a 1-car garage, a 2-car garage? How important is a basement? Do you want a big yard or small yard? And so on and so forth. One of the things, though, you do need to keep in mind when you are a buyer and you're shopping during the winter months is snow. Now, snow is inevitable here in the New England area. We do deal with it all the time. Sometimes there's a lot of snow on the ground. Sometimes there's a little snow on the ground. I always say at this time of year to everyone that I'm working with, just be careful walking and driving around. Sometimes the roads get a little slick and icy and you want to be careful. And especially when you're going out and you're looking at homes. For sellers, the tips that I give during the wintertime is to make sure that your driveway and your walkways are clear of any debris or any ice or snow, so no one's going to slip and fall when they come up to see your house. And quite honestly, if you take the time to clear out the driveway and clear the walkways, there's going to be less tracking of the outside into your house when somebody comes through to take a look. As a buyer, you want to see the yard, you want to see the house. Now, with snow cover, you can't really look at the grass. You can't really enjoy any of the plantings that may be around the house. So I try to tell my buyers to use a little bit of imagination and basically go with the flow as far as what the yard's going to look like once all that snow melts. There's some other precautions you should take. One of the things that we did talk about last year at this time for the sellers out there, when you do put your house on the market, be very careful about how you're heating it. Now, I'm not talking about the expense of heating the house. I'm talking about comfort level. What I mean by comfort level is a lot of us like our houses warm and cozy, we call it, in the wintertime. The issue with that is some people don't like it so warm. So you kind of want to go the medium of the road when it comes to heating your home when you're putting it on the market. You don't want it too hot, because buyers are going to come into the house and they're not going to take their coats off like they're staying as a visitor. They're just coming through the tour of the house, usually about 15 minutes. So if they got heavy winter coats on and your house is very, very warm, they may find themselves uncomfortable and shorten their visit, thus maybe not making a buying decision because they were uncomfortable in the home. The other thing that I like to talk about at this time of the year is fireplaces. We live in New England. There are a lot of homes that have fireplaces, and a lot of them are functional fireplaces. Now, some of us have changed the fireplace over the years where we've put an insert in. It's either gas-fired or maybe it's separate propane gas or something along those lines. And we're not actually burning wood anymore. And that's a good thing as far as energy efficiency is concerned. But there are some older homes where people prefer to have a good old-fashioned wood fire in the fireplace. It's very important for you to be conscious of the smells that a fire creates. A lot of us like that smell. I'm an old New England boy, so I like the smell of a fire in a fireplace. But there are other people that do not like that smell. So I always recommend to my sellers, if you have a fireplace and it's a wood-burning fireplace, it doesn't have an insert, don't have the fire going when buyers come to the house because you want it to look nice, but at the same time you don't want to turn anybody off with any smell that the fire might be making that might aggravate somebody's allergies, or maybe it's just a smell that they don't like and it would deter them from purchasing the home. Let's take a look at this little Christmas message, and I'll be back right after with some more commentary on the holidays. So again, this real estate show is being filmed at the Zone Realty office in Plainville, Connecticut, and I'm filming in the early part of December. So we're probably on the air as we're approaching Christmas Day at this particular point in time. And as I said, everyone's running around, doing their shopping, getting those last-minute gifts, and looking at the possibilities that once Christmas is over, you're now going to be looking at next year. What are your New Year's resolutions going to be? And is that possibly going to be the year that you're going to make your move in selling your home or maybe purchasing your first home? And again, we talked about preparation and we talked about the things to do as far as preparing to purchase a home. A couple of things to keep in mind. In this next coming year, the federal government, the Federal Reserve, is looking at raising interest rates at least 3 times during the course of the year. Now that may change, but at this particular point, we're looking at interest rates going up at least 3 times next year. So the earlier you make your decision, the more likely you might get a better rate for the long term when you're financing your home, rather than waiting till the end of next year. Now, interest rates are going up. We all know that. We're seeing them going up. How fast they go up depends on the economy and a number of different factors. But again, we have a very good mortgage rate for 30-year fixed right now for new buyers that are out there. But next year it's going to be slightly higher. And as I said, during the course of the year, it's going to keep going up. So you might want to look at doing something earlier in the year as opposed to later in the year. Let's also talk about, when you're preparing to purchase a home in the wintertime, some of the things you might want to look for. Now, of course, one of the nice things that you can do in the wintertime that you can't do in the summertime when you're touring a home is, as I had mentioned earlier, feeling how comfortable it is in the house. I had one person point out to me when we went through an old farmhouse how drafty the windows were. And sure enough, the windows were older windows from the early 1900s. So, of course, they were single pane glass windows. And that was one of the things they were going to have to factor in their mind should they decide to buy that older home, in that the windows, in order to make the home more efficient, may have to be updated. So of course they wanted to look at that as a future expense should they purchase that home. Drafts are very easy to spot in a house when you have that colder weather, because as I said, all you have to do is walk by the windows or feel the windows or stand in front of a doorway that's closed, and you can feel if there's any cold air that's coming in. Something you can't do in the summer. One of the other things that gives you an advantageous look when you're out there looking at houses in the wintertime is the way the light falls in the house. Lighting is different in the summertime compared to the wintertime. Depends on where the sun is in the sky, or if the sun is even in the sky at the time that you're looking at the house. So you want to also look at the lighting. Where does the light fall? How does it light up the house? Do you need any additional lighting that you may have to put as far as light fixtures in a home, because the light fixtures that are there aren't doing a very well job in keeping the home very well lit, especially if you're looking at the home in the early evening, because it gets dark early nowadays. Let's take a look at this quick little video of a home that's for sale, and I'll be back with the real estate mailbag and some commentary. I was having a conversation the other day with an individual, and we were talking about snow tires, which is a topic that sometimes comes up during this time of the year because of the weather. And of course, being a realtor, I immediately started trying to relate snow tires to a house. Not too far of a stretch as you might want to think. I mean, when you're looking to prepare for winter, you do a number of different things to your car to prepare it for the cold season, like making sure the battery is fully charged, putting your snow tires on, checking all your fluids, your brakes, maybe putting a snow kit in the car so that in case you get stuck, you have sand and a shovel and so on and so forth. Well, when it comes to putting your house on the market, especially during the wintertime, you want to do the same kind of thing. You want to prepare it. You want to make sure that the home is comfortable, that your heating system is working, not too hot. You want it to be comfortable in the home. You want to make sure all your windows are clean so that the bright light from the outside shines in, because lighting is different from the winter compared to the spring and the summer. You want to also make sure that you have maybe protection down where the main entrance of the floor is. People are going to be coming in to look at your home. They're going to be tracking nature into your house. So perhaps you want to lay down rug runners or some kind of a carpet splotch or a carpet piece or something like that, or ask people to wipe their feet. I've even seen people go so far as to provide those little booties that slide over people's shoes with a little note that says, please put these over your shoes while you're touring my home to keep my carpets clean. And that's not an unusual request. We do see that here a lot in New England. You do want to go through your house during the winter season and make sure that you are prepared when you put it on the market for visitors to come to the house. Walkways are shoveled or salted or sand. The driveways are clear. You know, sometimes those city snowplows go by. They leave those big hills at the end of the driveways. You want to make sure that you clear those because you don't want anyone getting stuck. And again, as I said, make sure your walkways and your stairwells and so on and so forth are clear of snow and ice. Nothing worse than if a buyer comes to look at your home and they slip and fall. This is the part of the show I call the real estate mailbag. It's my opportunity to answer questions that are emailed to us here at the Real Estate Show, or sometimes just talk about a topic that came up when I was out and about in the general public. One of the emails that I got was, Rick, isn't it true that people don't like to move in the cold? I'm looking to put my house on the market, but I think I'm going to wait until the warmer weather because I'm afraid I'm not going to get a lot of people coming out and looking at my house. My answer to that is, yes, that is very true. People don't like to move in the cold. But I will tell you this, those buyers that come out that are looking at your house in the wintertime, they're serious. They don't care that it's cold. They're looking, they need to move. There's a change in their life and they need to move. So the weather's not going to stop them unless there's a big storm outside and the state gets closed down. But those buyers are the more serious buyers, because if someone's looking at weather or looking at a home in bad weather, you know they're serious about purchasing a home. My name's Rick Naples. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Real Estate Show. See you next time.